You know, during this time, this very challenging time, the power of prayer, so important to remember, and how it can really, you know, be our friend, to soothe our hearts, to help us transcend, to help us to remember God. And Yogananda, in Whispers from Eternity, he guides us in how to pray effectively. So I just wanted to remind you of these 5 simple steps and see if you can just integrate them as I read the prayer today. The first one is, we just did that, is just to calm the mind for a moment and just a brief period of meditation where you just go inward. And the second one is to concentrate on a specific prayer. So this prayer that I read, just really concentrate on that. Let that be saturated with your heart's devotion. And the third one is to feel that God is listening to the silent words of your soul. Really feel that attunement. That's such an important part of self-transcendence, is to really tune into knowing this relationship with God is so sacred within you, and it is yours. It is yours at every moment. And the fourth one is to remain in that concentration and remain calm. So the calm heart and the concentration in the spiritual eye, the most important muscle of our body. And the fifth one is have perfect faith that God has heard in every prayer. And so this reading today from Whispers, going inside, opening the heart, calling in God, keeping your concentration alive. Let's listen to these words. I may go far, farther than the farthest star, but I will be thine always. Devotees may come, devotees may go, but I will be thine always. I may bound over billows of many lives under sad, dark skies of loneliness, but I will be thine always. The whole world may ignore thee, engrossed in its thy gifts of money, power, pleasure, mere playthings, but I will be thine always. Take everything from me if thou wilt, but Lord, I will be thine always. Death, disease, and every imaginable trial may riddle and rend me, yet, while the embers of memory still flicker, looking into my dying eyes, they will mutely say, I will be thine always. My voice may grow feeble, fail, and forsake me, and yet with burning heart and with the silent voice of my soul, I will ever whisper to thee, my Lord, I will be thine always. Congratulations, everyone. You have won the lottery. You are rich beyond your wildest dreams. It's a spiritual lottery, and you have won the best prize ever. It is freedom. Transcendence, self-transcendence, that lower self of ego. You have risen above it into that higher self, into who you truly are. The odds were against you, says Krishna, 1,000s to 1. But you did win. How? Through perfect attunement, through perfect love, and through perfect faith. You went forth in perfect faith in the power of omnipresent good. And you asked to bring me what I need at the time I need it. And that's what attunement is. It is that we call in what we need. Attunement is built through our willingness to feel and to transmute our karma. So Kyle just rose above, transcended in such a huge way yesterday. So we are asked today, this is very important, we are asked today to rededicate our lives to God. In this moment, in your heart, feel that. You are asked to rededicate your life to God, to reignite your desire to know Him, to live in Him, to be the love in this world, to be that pilgrim, to be that example. This is what these times are calling for. It's perfect timing, and perfection leads to transcendence. And in this perfect time, we are asked, we are called to understand that we have been incarnated by God to bring light and love, to be the spiritual warriors of light, to move past the duality, to look beyond behaviors in people, appearances, and how things look in the circumstances of life, to look to the higher way. What's trying to happen here? What is God doing? What does God want us to know? How does God want us to grow? We are here to raise the vibrational frequency as these warriors of light. And how do we do that? We live selflessly. We love God with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, and with all our strength. And we serve without the thought of getting anything, that nishkam karma, right? Without the fruits of our labors. We're doing it from the pureness of our heart, of wanting to be with God, because when we serve, God is right by our side. And through meditation, it's so powerful that when we sit in that peace, in that calmness that we've earned through the power of Kriya Yoga, what happens is there's ripples being sent out into the cosmos, sending to people whose hearts are afraid, that people who are sick, people who are needing our help, it's all going to them. And we are being that example of love. That's why we're here. And we are here to expand Master's teachings and all the great Master's teachings, to bring self-realization, to keep Kriyananda's mission alive, to keep, and each one of us have our own unique way of doing that. We all have our own personal gifts, and each one of us are doing our part each day to keep bringing these self-realization is knowing in your body, mind, and soul that you possess the kingdom of God. And when that happens, you know, that instrument you are is a channel, and everyone who you meet, no matter what, is feeling that vibration, is remembering that vibration, is being drawn into that vibration, is being touched by that vibration. So we remain in love and free in God, even though this we can remain inwardly free, even though we're all confined, even though we're constricted, even though we're not supposed to leave our house and we have to wear masks, you know, we can be the freedom. We can hold it in our hearts and minds, even, you know, in this pandemic, even in this difficult time. And then we remain in that love, because the fear of disease is all around us. And we're a sentry. We're holding that powerful perception of God. This is what God has asked us to do by incarnating here. This is our job. And to know that truth and to live that truth is essential. So self-transcendence, it means rising above these outward experiences and live from that higher self in freedom. Ideal example he is of self-transcendence. You know, he was a psychologist taken to the concentration camps, and there was so much ugliness around him, so much fear, so much despair, so much loss and hopelessness. And there was something that he was able to hold love in his heart and keep remembering love, keep remembering God over and over and over again. And through that, the ripples just went out to all those people that were suffering. He became this light in this dark time. And that's what each one of us are called for. And he said he did it by kept remembering love. And that is the essence of God. And this perfect love that we're developing, and this perfect faith, and this perfect attunement is what brings us to win this battle of life, to win self-transcendence. And the prayer, I go forth in perfect faith in the power of omnipresent good to bring me what I need at the time I need it. That's the spiritual warrior. That's what we're asked to do, to know that we've called this in to awaken something in us all. This is a huge thing that's trying to happen here, and we are part of it. This is a dynamic, extraordinary time to be here and to be born and to see it and to rise above ego consciousness and to see it as the divine and know how blessed we are, how guided we are, how each one of the masters is rooting for us, asking us to keep this light burning, to hold this lantern of our light as we walk through life so that people can be drawn to it. So these masters, they knew it. They are asking us to rise above this current physical experience, to transcend our ego and its limitations. And we do that by that perfecting our faith, by knowing that this is happening for a higher purpose. That perfect love that all the gurus are given to us at every given moment, and that perfect attunement. So at times of difficulty, we tune in, we ask, each one of the gurus, Lahiri Mahashaya, he's that householder. He knows how hard it is to be in this world. When we're having a hard time in this physical world, we're having a hard time transcending some of the ways we have to, our jobs or the people around us or, our bills or those kind of things. He knows. We call on him. And Babaji, 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 if you call my name with reverence, I will be there. Babaji, we call to him when we are looking to grow into our spiritual practice. The Kriya practice he's always allowing us to develop that practice. Call on him to help us with our meditation so that we can steady, so that we can be calm in our hearts. And Jesus, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're reading so much about rising out of these, these petty ego ways of seeing each other and rising above it and seeing everybody as earned this incredible experience of having this heaven, that each one of us have to be so courageous souls to have come and incarnated at this time and to see everybody as doing the best they can, looking for unconditional love the only way they know how. And Master, the Prem Avatar, when we need love, when we need to see a situation in our life with love, we call on him. We know him. We know he is the love that lives in our hearts. We know that we can rise above any situation if he's standing by our side. And Sri Yukteswar, he's the wisdom. He's the disciplinarian. Whenever I have a pattern or a habit I call on him. He's right before my meditation room. Discipline me to meditate. Discipline me to make the right choices. There's this beautiful story about Yogananda. His sister, Brahma, came to him and said, I have faith in you, brother. My husband, Satish, he's in need of spiritual transformation. He is a material man. He is cynical and critical. He does not believe in God. It is really hard. And Yogananda said, I will help you, sister. Come with me. Come with me to the holy Kali temple. And to be in that holy vibration, he will be transformed. And in that day, an extraordinary thing happened. Yogananda prayed, and this is what he does for us. He prayed on his brother-in-law's behalf. And he sees when we're suffering. He sees when we need help. And he prays to God on our behalf. And he said, Divine Mother, wilt thou not spiritually change my sister's husband? And she said, thy wish be granted. And as he began to meditate, the stone statue of the Divine Mother began to awaken and become alive. And through that, an omnipresence, an incredible, divine, thrilling, joyful, lightful experience overwhelmed Yogananda in mind, body, and spirit. And he sat with the Divine Mother in this absolute bliss and this absolute knowledge of her power to transcend, to help each one of us transcend. And because Yogananda was in that experience for many hours, when he left, the temple was closed. And Satish was thinking about his belly. He was a material boy, and he was thinking about his lunch and realized there was no lunch. And he began to ridicule Yogananda, be very critical. And a man came out of the temple and said, I saw you there. I saw you. And in this divine attunement. I saw the love and the peace and the beauty and the faith in your heart. And because of that, I put some lunch aside, and I just wanted to serve you. And you served them the most beautiful, beautiful lunch. Throughout that day and throughout those transforming experiences, Satish became to really change. He changed at that holy temple from an ordinary worldly man to a saint who began to walk the path of self-realization, who called on Divine Mother. And Yogananda said before he left, he had a vision of Divine Mother. She came to him because of his devotion, because he was able to embrace these beautiful teachings of self-realization. And so remember, out of 1,000 and many, many, many thousand, one strives for spiritual attainment. You are that one. Or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this. You are that one. And out of many blessed truth seekers who strive assiduously to reach me, one perhaps, as Krishna sees me as I am. You are that one. You have won the spiritual lottery. You stand unshaken amidst the crashing worlds. And the teachers of self-realization are your ticket home. Perfection is self-transcendence. Om. Peace. Amen.